Nityanukroshahridayo Bhagavan Ahatan Shiva Radhanjalim Rajaputan Narayana Parovata Mataji Maitreya Uvacha Nityanukroshahridayo Bhagavan Ahatan Shivaha Radhanjalim Rajaputtan Narayana Maitreya. The great saint Maitreya continued to speak. Iti Anukroshahridayaha, very kind-hearted. Bhagavan, the Lord, Aha, said, Tan, unto the Prachetas, Shivaha, Lord Shiva, Baddha Anjali, who were standing with folded hands, Rajaputran, the sons of the king, Narayana Paraha, Lord Shiva, great devotee of Narayana, Vachaha, word. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Yasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. The great sage Maitreya continued, out of his causeless mercy, the exalted personality of Shiva, the great devotee of Lord Narayana, continued to speak to the king's sons who were standing with folded hands. Please repeat. The great sage Maitreya continued, out of his causeless mercy, the exalted personality of Shiva, the great devotee of Lord Narayana, continued to speak to the king's sons, who were standing with folded hands. Purport. Lord Shiva voluntarily came to bless the sons of the king, as well as do something beneficial for them. He personally chanted the mantra so that the mantra would be more powerful, and he advised that the mantra be chanted by the king's sons, Rajaputras. When a mantra is chanted by a great devotee, the mantra becomes more powerful. Although the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, a disciple upon initiation receives the mantra from his spiritual master. For when the mantra is chanted by the spiritual master, it becomes more powerful. Lord Shiva advised the sons of the king to hear him attentively, for Lord Shiva advised the inattentive hearing is offensive. In this chapter, taught them on Rudra Gita, a period of prayer for Lord Narayana. He told them that if you recite this Rudra Gita, you will get darshan of Lord Narayana face to face. So they took it to their heart, and the Prachetas practiced chanting that Rudra Gita 10,000 years under the water, performing austerities. And Lord Vishnu came and gave them darshan in Ashtabhuja Rupa, 8-handed form. highlight point here. Prabhupada says two very important points. Prabhupada says in the purport. One thing is that when the mantra is chanted by a guru or a great Vaishnava, it becomes more powerful than when we just pick up the mantra from some scripture and chant it ourselves on our own. To be received from a guru. Like we sing in the song. Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu Charane Podiya Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu Charane Podiya Jai Hari Nama Mantra Duiro Magiya Jai Hari Jai Hare Rama Mantra Loilo Magiya. At one time he was in a jail for some reason, and he became attracted to one roller watch, which was very attractive watch, which he saw in one back-to-guarded magazine which came to the jail. He saw in the back cover, Prabhupada was sitting with a roller watch in his hand. So he thought, I will meet this Swamiji so I can steal this watch. That was his idea. So he came to Juhu temple. As soon as he went to Prabhupada's quarters, Prabhupada's room, Prabhupada saw him at the entrance and said, you want this watch? Take it. He gave him. And he was taken by surprise. How the Swamiji knew that I wanted this watch? Then he decided to stay back in the temple because it seems that Swamiji is a mind reader. He has understood my heart. And he developed affection for Prabhupada and he stayed in the temple. And then, of course, he was very open when speaking to Prabhupada. He told Prabhupada, I was a thief before, now I become a devotee by your association now. I like the temple and the devotees, I am staying here. And as a thief, he said, I always used to keep all night awake, because thief has to steal in the night only. So, what service can I do? So Prabhupada said, when I am rising early in the morning at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and when I am translating the Bhagavatam and writing, giving commentaries, that time the dogs make sound. Like that they make sound. Pow, pow, pow. You can hear that in the Prabhupada recording. Prabhupada will say, Lord Shiva voluntarily came, pow, pow, like that, in between. So that was actually spoiling you can't hear clearly what Prabhupada says. So Prabhupada said, okay, you keep vigil at night and drive away the dogs. So that service he gave him. Such a nice service, isn't it? Because it makes the Bhagavatam become proper. So, and then he got one service in kitchen because he was hardworking, cutting sabji and cooking and everything he was doing. One day he heard that there is some initiation ceremony going on down. So he was in the kitchen very busy. For part of the ceremony he was not there. And then he asked the devotee, what is the matter? He said, Prabhupada is giving initiation. So he just came from the kitchen. His dress was black and he was sweating. But he was just standing at the door and watching Prabhupada giving initiation. And then seeing that everybody is receiving a mala and receiving a name, so he also went. Asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can I also get a name? Can you give me initiation also? By the time all the malas were given away fully. He was the last one. Prabhupada said, you want initiation? Okay. Prabhupada took his own beads and gave. Prabhupada said, you are Haridas. Like that Prabhupada gave him name. Because if somebody is asking, that's not an ordinary thing. Somebody is going and asking a Vaishnava, please give me mala, please accept me as a disciple. So immediately he initiated him. So only after asking one should give, that's one point. And also, how is it that Mahamantra itself is holy? Now, how do we say that when a more advanced Vaishnava calls the holy name, it becomes more powerful, it says. How is that? That is the reason is, Krishna resides in the heart of those devotees who are pure. Like our Kunti Maharani says, Tata Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartam Katam Pashye Mahistriyah. She is telling, oh Lord, you reside in the heart of Amalatmanam. Those who are pure-hearted. The purer you become, the more Krishna is comfortable in residing in your heart. As he says, Tomara Hridaye Sada, Tomara Hridaye Sada Govinda Vishram. Boliye. Govinda ko hai na mora Vaishnava paran. Govinda ko hai. Tomara Hridaye Sada Govinda Vishram. Govinda ko hai na mora Vaishnava paran. Kevaro karuna karo Vaishnava gosai. He says, Lord Krishna is residing in your heart. Tomara Hridaye Sada Govinda Vishram. Govinda kahane mara Vaishnava paran. Vaishnava is my life and soul, Krishna says. He resides in the heart of Vaishnavas. Sadhavo hridayam mahyam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madanyattena jananti naham tebhyo managapi. I reside in the heart of my devotees and my devotees reside in my heart. I do not know anything other than my devotees. My devotees don't know anything other than me, he says. So, in this way, those devotees who are fixed up in devotional service, those who are completely delighting in only devotional activities, and those who have no inclination for materialistic enjoyments, they are not chasing after the mirage of the illusion of the material existence, but they are completely satisfied and delighted in devotional activities. Those devotees are the millionaires in devotional service. One should cling on to them and associate with them and take their vibration. So, then such devotees, when they call the holy name has more power. For example, once Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, he went to one dharmashala where he was there for just a couple of hours, 2-3 hours or so. After that, he proceeded ahead. And after he left, few hours later, somebody else came and occupied that room in the dharmashala. And they heard the sound of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This sound was coming from the walls. And that fellow was surprised. Where is the sound coming from? He went all around, there was no one. And the sound was coming from the bricks. The bricks had absorbed the holy name chanted by Gaura Krishnadas Babaji. And even after he left few hours ago, still the bricks were echoing. They could not stop. Helplessly they were echoing. That goes to show the depth of his chanting of the holy name. How intensely he must have chanted the holy name. That vibration was still remaining there. So why do we come to temple? Because temple is a place where many such Mahatma devotees visit and go. They come, they give pravachanas, they give katha, they do kirtan. And this hall is filled with such vibrations. Why even outsiders and newcomers come? Why do they feel the vibration in the temple? That vibration is actually left behind by pure devotees who sing and dance, especially inoffensively. What is inoffensive singing and dancing? Inoffensive means all your material identification should be washed away. I am a man, I am a woman, I am engineer, I am doctor, I am rich, I am poor, I am beautiful, I am ugly, I am fair, I am black, I am great, I am small. All this identification should be washed away completely. And one should only think, Krishna is my Lord, lovable Lord, and I am His eternal servant. And keeping oneself in that correct identification, when one calls out the holy name with great affection, and either affection or helplessness, uh, like like any without any kind of duplicity, without duplicity, without any material motivation, without any kind of expectation in return, material expectations, without any expectation, simply calling out of affection, calling out of love, helplessly. That's called an inoffensive name. So inoffensively, helplessly, desperately, without any motivation, one is calling, then that name is extremely powerful. It just springs from the heart, permeates the body, and dances in the tongue of a chanter, like that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. When that dances in the tongue of a chanter, one will be addicted to the holy name. One will be addicted to the names of Hari. So that comes in the song also, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu song. What is that? Nava Gauravaram. In that one line comes, Satatam Janata Bhavatapaharam Paramartha Parayana Lokagatim Kurute Satatam Jagataha Jivanam Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram. And then one more line he says, his mouth is always chanting the names of Hari. What is that line? Anybody knows? You see? Find out. He chants when the veena is soft notes are played. And he is addicted to the names of Hari. And Yuga Dharma Yutam Punarnanda Sutam Dharani Suchitram Bhava Bhavo Chittam Tanudhyana Chittam Nijavasa Yutam Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravara Hari Bhakti. Is that? Hari Bhakti Param Hari Namadharam Karajapya Karam Hari Nama Param Nayane Satatam Pranayashrudharam Pranamami Sati Sutta Gauravaram. So his fingers are always counting the chanting of the holy name, Japam. And his lips are always singing the holy name. And his hands and legs, always the body is dancing to the tune of the holy name. And his mind and heart are overflooded with remembrance of Lord Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes, and activities. Therefore, there are tears that's always welling up in his eyes. Completely inoffensively, he is calling out pure names, Shuddhanam, moment after moment. That is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, he is experiencing the greatest Mahabhava in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So, you can easily understand the names called by such a pure personality are of much different quality than somebody calling out the name of the Lord with some material motivation. There are so many people who come to the temple who pray that, oh Lord, please make sure my business will flourish, or may my daughter get married, or may my son get placed in a job. There are so many people coming and crying for so many things. People cry. Such material motivation doesn't attract Lord's attention so much. Although they will get some meager benefits. But that is not a pure prayer. It's not a pure name. They are called mixed devotees. Mixed devotees. They are mixed with material motivations. They are calling the Lord, but calling the Lord is not done purely. But if someone calls the Lord's name very purely, inoffensively, that carries a lot of potency. That's why there are many new people who say how they came to ISKCON, because our bus was going and they heard this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. See, just like somebody is ghost haunted, you can be Goloka haunted. Lord Chaitanya was Goloka haunted. Similarly, I saw a man who came to a temple. I asked him, how did you become a devotee? He immediately started raising hand and singing this. This is how I became a devotee. I was going in the road, I heard this in a bus. Bus was not stopping also. Bus went ahead. But he just heard this, 2-3 names. 2-3 Mahamantras he heard in the bus. And then he started going home and singing to his wife, singing to the neighbors. And he asked the people, where is this bus from? I want to meet these fellows. They went away. Then somebody told him, this kind of Mahamantra is sung by ISKCON devotees. So then they told him to go to local ISKCON temple. He went and he became a devotee. When I met him first, and I asked him, how did you get introduced? And this is how he said, he started singing. So he started coming to the temple in front of the deities. We used to play the Prabhupada dhun. So he would be clapping and just attending the arati regularly, morning and evening, both times. So when the names are, Prabhupada says, when the names are sung by a Mayavadi, it's like milk touched by a snake. It becomes poisonous. Because Mayavadis are Krishna paradis. They are envious of Krishna. They are haters of Krishna. They are competitors with Krishna. They want to bury Krishna and they want to become prominent themselves. They want to become God themselves. So they are offenders. One should not hear names sung by them. Even if they sing very sweetly, one shouldn't hear that. On the other hand, when the holy name is sung by a pure devotee, it's extremely potent. It can actually pierce through even an iron-like heart and can purify our heart. That's why recently I was in America giving a program. Some American boys had come for the program. So I showed the Prabhupada's Your Ever Well-Wisher video. After that I asked them, what is the realization? One of them gave a very profound realization. He said, you see, coming to a foreign land and preaching Krishna consciousness is certainly a very wonderful thing. But Swami Prabhupada was so powerful that his purity of the holy name that he uttered could pierce the heart of most degraded people of that age. And it could enter. That means it's not very easy. If somebody is pious, you can easily bring them to Krishna consciousness because they already have some sanskaras. But this Swamiji's holy name utterance was so inoffensive and pure, it pierced the heart of even the hippies and it stopped all their degradation, purified them and made them all Krishna's devotees. He said, this is what touches me the most, he said. And this fellow is American himself and he is speaking from the heart, you can see that. So that's the first part, it says. So when Guru gives us the JAPA beads, he first chants in the JAPA beads. So when he utters the name very purely, after that we receive the mala, then when we chant the mantra, then we get additional support. People ask, why should we get initiated? This is the reason. You get initiation because you get support from the Guru also for uttering the holy name. It's like a mother or a father who can escort you while walking. If you don't have anyone to escort you, you have to walk on your own. You may be a toddler, you may fall down to the ground. But if you are escorted spiritually by somebody, then you can easily walk. Like that you get additional help. When one takes initiation, one boy was asking, is it all right that I don't take initiation and I can go back to Godhead? I asked, why do you ask like this? He said, you see, if you take initiation, you become bound by somebody. They will tell you, do this, don't do this. That means he wants freedom. So, scriptures say, yes, you should agree to be bound by the spiritual laws taught by the spiritual master. It is for our good only. Mother tells the child, don't touch the knife, don't touch the fire. That is for the good of the child. Otherwise, the child will take the knife and cut sabji and cut his finger also. It's dangerous. So therefore, one should take initiation from a guru who gives the holy name after chanting in the mala. That is one part. Another important point he says here, Lord Shiva advised the sons of king to hear him attentively, for inattentive hearing is offensive, he says. It's very important that we execute the spiritual activities very consciously and very attentively and not carelessly. One time, at that time Prabhupada was not yet initiated. He was Abhay Babu. Abhay Babu. So there was one lecture going on in the temple hall. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was speaking. Way behind, there was one donor who was sitting, and next to him Abhay Babu was sitting. They both were sitting next to each other. So the donor wanted to speak something to him. So Abhay Babu leaned and asked, what do you want to say? Like that. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur observed it. Immediately he told the donor, just because you are giving me 150 rupees every month, do you think you have purchased me? He asked him. And then he turned to Abhay Babu and said, instead of you both speaking there, why don't you come here and you give the lecture? He asked. So after that he didn't say anything about it. But Prabhupada says, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very strict in the class. He expected everybody to give rapt attention and not be careless. Of course, Abhay Babu became a very, very dear disciple of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Later on, once in Koshi, when all the devotees had gone for yatra, announcement was made. If you all wish, you can go to see Sheshashayi Vishnu, darshan, or you can sit in the class in the evening. Choice is yours. So most people went for darshan of the deities, Sheshashayi Vishnu. And our Abhay Babu, where was he? He was sitting in the class and he was listening. So another occasion, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was in the Matha, Abhay Babu went to meet him to ask some question. At that time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was chanting on the beads and walking, pacing back and forth. So Abhay Babu, he also would walk with him. And he would also chant with him, hearing the holy name. Sometimes hours also, sometimes. So he had that habit of very attentively listening to his spiritual master. Eventually, when his initiation came, when the president recommended Abhay Babu's name, Bhaktivinoda Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur noticed, oh, Abhay Babu, he likes to hear, he said. So I don't mind initiating him. I'm happy to initiate him, he said. That means for initiation criteria, what was the criteria according to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? He likes to hear. He likes to hear. He doesn't go away. Generally, you find in temples, when the arati is on, a lot of people come. And when the lecture starts, people go away. Correct, no? So they think the darshan is over now. That's the purpose for which we came to the temple. But they may not sit and hear. But there is one ritual in South India which my father taught when I was a small boy. Any temple you go, you should not take darshan and go away. You have to sit for some time. How many of you know this policy? You know it? Yeah. I didn't know at that time what was the reason we had to sit. My father used to say, we should not immediately go away. You should sit. Of course, in those temples there was no lecture going on, but we are supposed to sit. The idea of sitting there is what? Something good will go in. Some mantra will be chanted. Somebody will give a lecture. Some one good lesson you learned that day. So, like one time, me and my father had gone to a temple, we were sitting. And then that evening, when we were sitting, there was a Ramayana Katha going on. One lady, Saraswati Subramaniam, she was giving a 20-day Ramayana Katha. And it was the first day. We just took darshan, and there was a big crowd of people. We were wondering why such a big crowd. Then we sat. And then we heard her for 10 minutes. After that, we felt, oh, Ramayana is so sweet. Then we ended up hearing the whole lecture. Then next day onwards, our whole family, we attended all the 20 days. Next one after that. Because one good vibration goes in, you understood. It really hit you hard. Then you will want to associate regularly. And then your auspicious spiritual life begins by that. Therefore, attentive hearing is very important. Our Sutta Goswami says about himself, he says, Tatra kirtayato vipra risher bhuri tejasah aham chadyagamam tatra nivishtastat anugrahat soham shravayishyami yatadhitam yatamatihi. You know what he says? In that assembly where Parikshit was sitting in the audience, and for him, Shukadeva Goswami was speaking Bhagavatam, and thousands of saintly persons were sitting, including Narada and Veda Vyasa also. I was so blessed that even I was also sitting there, he says. I was also in the same assembly. Aham chadya gamam tatra. And I had one good qualification, he says. What was it? Nivishtastat anugrahat. I was hearing with rapt attention, he says. I was not distracted. Sometimes nowadays, when people sit in a class, the smartphone, as soon as some beep comes, they take it and then they start, they took it out for one thing, but they do 10 other things. They get distracted in between the class. Sometimes they respond to the SMS, a message or something. Sometimes they end up, seeing this, seeing that, so many things like that. They get distracted by the smartphone. Or they may not have a smartphone, they may be sitting in the class, but then they get into plan making mode. Today in the daytime I will do this, next week I will do that. Or their mind gets into worries of the past, why it happened like that, or why it happened like this. So, or sometimes their mind gets into a judging mode about the speaker, how the speaker looks, what is the speaker's this and so many things like that. Or they make comparisons of this speaker with that speaker and so many things like that, isn't it? So you will find that the mind has so many useless businesses to which they get distracted and not pay attention to the sound vibration, which should be heard attentively. And one should not only hear it, one should contemplate on it. What did I hear? And how does it, how is it relevant to me? How does it connect with my life? How can I apply it in my life? So we should hear so well that at the end of the lecture, when we leave the lecture, our mind should be raising vibrations. Oh, this point was very good, that point was good, this I can apply. This I need more clarification. The real class starts after the class is over. Yeah, because the mind is constantly thinking about what I heard. That means a good listener. A good listener's mind is constantly filled with spiritual thoughts. Prabhupada says the students of Krishna consciousness movement are extremely busy researching into the absolute truth, he says. So researching in absolute truth is not only studying scripture. After studying contemplation, Shravanam, then Mananam, then Nididhyasanam. So Mananam means recollecting what I heard. Okay, what are the points that were spoken, and then repeating it to somebody. So there's Mananam. And then Nididhyasan is realization and conviction on what we heard. Not only you heard it, not only you understood it, you also have accepted it with conviction and you applied it in your life and you become realized devotee. It's not a bookish knowledge anymore. Then Nididhyasana. So in this way, these are subsequent steps. Therefore it is said, when you read the books, you get knowledge. When you hear from very learned and realized devotees, you get wisdom. And after reading the books and hearing from great devotees, when you apply it in your life, you get realization. This is how the knowledge and wisdom and realization, you combine all the three, you get maturity. That's how the maturity becomes more and more. And how do you know a devotee is a mature devotee? A mature devotee's outlook is much different than a mediocre devotee or a neophyte devotee. So we all want to develop spiritual maturity, definitely. And that comes by a combination of reading the books, hearing the lectures from wise devotees and applying it in our lives. So, Nivishtasthad anugrahat. I heard the lectures very attentively. Therefore, now I can repeat the whole Bhagavatam, he says. Our Sudha Goswami. Like when I give lectures for the students, after I finish my 1 hour lecture, I would ask them, can you recollect some points? Immediately they will open the notebook. I'll tell them, without seeing the notebook. Why? If you want the information from the notebook, then your notebook will go back to Godhead. You will be here only. It has to be registered in your mind and your heart when you hear the lecture. Not just copy and repeat. Now people, if you ask them 2 plus 2, they say, wait a minute, I'll use calculator. Calculator for every small thing now. They have become so dependent on machines now. So one should be able to hear and hold the information in the mind and be able to process it, apply it, and then relish it and repeat it to other people. Akhyatani apyaditani, he says. So, how can we do that? In that purport, Prabhupada says, one who is pure in mind can pay rapt attention, he says. How to become pure in mind, he says. To become pure in mind, we have to be pure in habits, activities, he says. Pure in activities means pure in habits. What are the habits? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, he says. For example, one should eat only Krishna Prasad. See, if you eat only Krishna Prasada, then mouth will only chant the holy name or speak holy katha. If you eat some unoffered food, then mouth will speak some gossip or rumor mongering or useless talk or argumentation or debate or blasphemy or fault finding and all that. Mouth will speak. But if we take Krishna Prasad always, so tongue has two activities. One is to speak and one is to eat. So eat only Krishna Prasad and speak only Krishna Katha, Krishna Nam, like that. That is the restraint of the tongue. And eating also should be sanctioned food which is sanctified as prasadam. And it should be eaten in regulated amounts, not overeat. The people who overeat, they will also oversleep. When they oversleep in the daytime, they get disoriented. They lose focus, they lose concentration, they lose briskness, they lose alertness, and they lose their goal ultimately. So one should eat moderately. The eating is not for sleeping. Eating is for getting energy to do work. Energy means, what is the definition of energy? Capacity to do work. Correct, na? So eating food means to get energy to do work. Like you see the lorry drivers, they go to motel, eat food, and then do they sit in the driver's seat and go to sleep? No, they drive a big truck. That means after eating, they do work. Similarly, devotee shouldn't overeat. Eat moderately and then do the work of studying or whatever and doing for other services. So this is eating. And sleeping to again recuperate the body so that we can render service after that, isn't it? So one shouldn't sleep too much. 6 hours sleep is prescribed in the scriptures. Maybe somebody needs 7 hours. But one shouldn't sleep 8 hours in the night and another 6 hours in the day. Prabhupada says if somebody is sleeping 12 hours every day, that means yearly they are sleeping how many months? 6 months. They are fit to become a polar bear the next life. The polar bear sleeps half the year. Yeah. So one shouldn't sleep too much. Sleep to keep the body fit for service. And similarly, mating. A man and woman come together, they get married to beget children and raise them in Krishna consciousness. The goal of life is not sense gratification. And nowadays when people marry, they think so much purchase they do when they go to the shopping malls. Building a house, fetching a job, making money, purchasing items, buying a bigger car, traveling all over the world and going on tour, watching this, watching that, go to SL World, Disney World. Their whole life goes away not knowing why are they born, where are they going. So that is not family life. Grihastha life actually means husband and wife should come together, keeping Krishna in the center, beget children and raise them in Krishna consciousness. And defending means unnecessarily we should not trouble other living entities. One should, but you have the right to defend yourself if someone attacks you. Keep the quarrel with other living entities to the minimum, so that you will have adequate time for giving to Krishna. So in this way, the whole idea is our habits, eating habits, sleeping habit, recreation habit, our communication, our dealing with other living beings respectfully, all these things matter in habits. So if I don't have any fight with any living being, my mind is peaceful because there are no revengeful thoughts, there's no anger. And if I am not comparing myself with other living beings, oh, they are rich, I am poor, oh, they have a big job, I have a small job and all that, then there is no inferiority complex. There is no superiority complex. There is no greed. They all go away like this. Similarly, if a man marries a woman and is peacefully satisfied in that family life, then he is free from hankering for anybody else, chasing after the mirage of illusions in this world. So in this way you will see that the lifestyle that is prescribed in scriptures is very conducive for keeping the mind calm, cool, collected, so we can completely focus on Krishna. So in this way Prabhupada says one who is pure in habits becomes pure in mind. One who is pure in mind can pay rapt attention when you are hearing spiritual message. And one who is paying rapt attention, he wakes up. He is not a sleeping soul, he is a woken up soul. He becomes alert and attentive and he blossoms in his spiritual life. Try to think about it. A deer is drinking water in a river, and in the bush, behind the bush, there is a tiger sometimes. And the tiger is aiming at the deer. If there is a little sound coming from the bush, the deer will run away immediately. So the deers have their ears very alert. Krishna has given them ears like that. They are very alert. Little sound, and the deer knows. They can easily smell the tiger through the ears. And the tiger also comes like this, with his nails down. So both are alert. Tiger is also alert and deer is also alert. But whoever is more alert, they will win. If deer is more alert, as soon as tiger pounces out of the bush, the deer will immediately it'll run away very fastly. So for the deer, not being attentive means he can lose life. See, we should also think like that. In Bhagavatam class, if I slept off, it's like a deer who got caught by the tiger. And what is the tiger? The tiger is the kala. We become caught by the kala and we have to die and again be reborn. But if anyone who is very attentive in the class, in the chanting, attentive people, they get up, they wake up in spiritual life. They cannot be captured by Maya. They are very attentive, alert. So this attentiveness is very important. One time, His Grace Gurujan Prabhu, before his initiation day, in New Vrindavan, America, there was some old building to be torn down. Some 4 or 5 devotees were taking iron rods and beating. So he also thought, tomorrow is my initiation, I should do some seva. So he also told them, okay, I am also ready to join you in the service. So he started, tearing down that old building wall, mud wall. Any of you have done that? With iron rod, breaking. It's a very painful thing. He did for 3-4 hours and he got severe body pain. Because of that, hands and legs were paining. And that day was a lot of services. Night it got late for him. He slept late, like yesterday, Rath Yatra day. When he came back at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And then in the morning he got up early. His eyes were like 2 potatoes, and 2 tomatoes, bloodshot. Eyes were very bloodshot in the morning when he got up because of lack of sleep. And he was very tired. And Prabhupada in those days would tell the devotees to make their JAPA beads and bring before the initiation. So he made the JAPA beads ready, but he didn't know where he kept it. He was searching, whole morning went and searching. And then the initiation time came. And then when he sat in the front row, Prabhupada was giving a lecture. And he was dozing like this, was falling like this. So Prabhupada pointed out, and then he got up, and then he went and washed his face and came. Sometimes you put cold water, you get more sleep. Sometimes. So then he made one interesting point. See, I was over enthusiastic for service the previous day. At the same time, I did not take care of my body. And next day I suffered in the class. Prabhupada said, you have to be awake and alert in the class. So he said that our enthusiasm should be tempered with practicality. Which means, yes, I had to be enthusiastic, but I should also be aware that if I am tearing down a wall, 4 hours, 5 hours, it's going to cause extreme tiredness and body pain and all that. So I could have done a little service and taken care of my body so I can be fit enough to sit and listen to the class. Even all of us also, we have to sleep early and rise early in the morning. Sleep at 9, get up at 3, or sleep at latest by 10 and get up by 4. Otherwise, if you are going to sleep at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, then our efficiency and effectiveness in the next day's activities becomes very reduced. Then we are not very focused. Half the time we are drowsy. Like I know my friends in college days, their book will be open, all light and fan, everything will be on, door will be open. They will say, I'm doing night out, I'm going to study. They used to call it night out. They did night out, only 2 pages they will read. Again and again falling on the book and half asleep. You are in a hallucinated state. You are not very effective. On the contrary, sleep well and be very brisk. And then effectively you should be swallowing the pages now. 30, 40, 50, 80 pages. Then you are satisfied. Yes, it's a good study with attention. When there is attention, it's like a magnifying glass focusing at a focal point. You have a rapt attention. So that is one lesson we learned. So we can say attentiveness when hearing the class. That is one attentiveness. Another attentiveness in chanting the holy name. That attentiveness is also very important. When the mind is wandering, especially when you chant slowly, the mind wanders. One has to chant swiftly. Prabhupada says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So don't give too long gaps. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Then mind wanders in between. Huh? Another thing Prabhupada said, if mind is wandering, chant loudly, he said. When you're chanting softly, mind is going somewhere else and getting into a plan-making mode. Hare Krishna, you say. Immediately mind will come running. What happened? What happened? What happened? Just hear the name. You can tell the mind, hear the name. So when you chant like that, loudly, then your mind comes back. So bringing the mind back, yato nischalati manas chanchalamas tatas tato niyamyetat atmaniye vavasham nayet, he says. Yato nischalati. When the mind wanders away, bring it back and try to hear. Again it wanders, bring it back and hear, like that he says. So that exercise will be fruitful over a period of time, provided we are really doing it with great endeavor. But some people, they switch off the mind. Iswala Satyanandan Maharaj was giving an example. One man was sitting with a newspaper in the evening. His wife came from the kitchen and she was speaking, telling what all happened in the day and this problem, that problem. And he was telling, but he was reading the newspaper. Do you think he was hearing? He wasn't hearing at all. And wife was also talking. And then she turned around and saw this fellow has a newspaper in the hand. Then she asked, okay, tell me, what did I tell you now? He said, you are telling something. He said, oh, something, what is that something? I have already told you, I accepted. Why are you asking me? He said, okay, tell me, what did you accept? He couldn't say anything. So Maharaj said, this is called pretending listening. What listening? Pretending listening. Similarly, we may take the bead bag and say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. And we are calculating so many things. I will do this. So many things go on, except the hearing of the holy name. That is simply eyewash chanting. So if you really have to hear the sound of the holy name, when mind wanders, immediately we should wake up and bring it back. We should make an effort to attentively hear. Actually, Prabhupada told one devotee, see, Maya is pulling you towards material plan making. And when you chant the holy name loudly and swiftly, then you are pulling Maya towards hearing the holy name. So there is a kind of tug of war that goes on. So in the tug of war, if you chant more quantity of rounds and more attentive rounds, more sincerely endeavored rounds with a prayerful mode, it's called a Sneha Yukta Nam. Sneha Yukta Nam means with affection and devotion to Krishna you chant, with heart full of gratitude and thankfulness, with a heart appreciative of Krishna, then that becomes very easy to pay attention. And the chanting becomes delightful experience. But if Kevala Nam means chanting dryly, Kevala Nam will only produce moksha. Whereas Sneha Yukta Nam will give prema, will give love of God. So it's a juicy name. It's a juicy name and dry name. Correct, no? So the juicy name is chanted affectionately. And how do we develop affection? When we read the Gita, Bhagavatam, gradually Krishna will come out of these books and enter our hearts. So then we will be able to call out the holy name with proper attitude. That's a very joyful name. After finishing 16 rounds, Prabhupada says you will feel, why only 16 rounds? Why not 16,000 rounds? You feel like that. That is Sneha Yukta Nam. So in this way, we can try to increase our attentiveness in the holy name. In fact, inattentiveness is the mother of all 10 offenses. So inattentiveness is a very, very bad thing in spiritual life. There is one verse you must have heard. Bahujanma kari yade, Bahujanma kari yade, Shravana kirtan, tabutana bhaibo, Krishna pade premadhan, it says. Even after you have chanted Hare Krishna for many, many lifetimes, you will not attain love for Krishna if you allow your chanting to be infested by these 10 offenses, he says. So every devotee should worry about these 10 offenses. We should study about them in detail and work on plucking them out, weeding out the offenses, so that our chanting can at least become inoffensive. Inoffensive means we are calling out with a desperate mood and helpless mood and a non-duplicitous mood. And we are actually addressing Krishna directly. my dear Lord, please purify my heart. And like he says, Hari Hari Vifale Janama Gavainu. Hari Hari Vifale Janama Gavainu. I wasted my human form of life, he says. Manusya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Navajaya. Radha Krishna Navajaya. Janiya Suniya Visha Kainu. He's saying, is there anybody in this world who will drink poison willingly? You will run away from poison. But he says that, yes, I am a human being. I can chant the holy name attentively if I want. But I have ignored the good instructions of the Vaishnavas. And I am repeatedly letting my mind hover over useless things of the world. And I am wasting my human form of life, he's saying. Golokera premadhana Hare Nama Sankirtana. Hare Nama Sankirtana. Rate Rajan Melo Kene Ka. So he's saying that Golokera Premadan, this holy name is imported from the spiritual world. Everybody likes imported product, Japanese or American. But this is far more than that, it's coming from Goloka directly. He's saying, still I have no attraction for this. So this kind of song should be sung and we should meditate on the meaning. And then we can come to the Niraparadhanam at least. It's a middle stage. Aparajyuktanam, Niraparadhanam, and Shuddhanam. So our Niraparadhanam will make it very attentive. We can be very attentive because the clearing stage is Niraparadhanam. If you take a wet cloth and wipe a mirror, dusty mirror, all the dust will go away. You can see the face clearly. Niraparadhanam is like that. Aparadhanam means there is already dust and we are throwing more dust. It's like that. It's not very effective. Niraparadhanam is actually wipe it, it becomes crystal clear. You can see the face well. So, holy name should be attentive. Hearing the classes, Bhagavatam class, that should be very attentive. And as I told you, let us focus on pure habits so we can have a pure mind. Then with a pure mind we can hear purely, attentively. Another thing I said was sleep early, rise early, be well rested so that you are brisk and alert and you don't have fatigue or tiredness. Then you can be brisk for hearing. And also associate with those who have a very strong taste for hearing. They are delighted, they are getting a eureka experience in every sentence they read. There are devotees who are, like Mahaprabhu would say, Gadadhar Pandit. He would say, Gadadhar Pandit, speak it again. He would say, the whole Prahlad pastime would be over. Speak it again, he would say. He would want to hear it. He would clap hands. He would roar in between the class. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great enthusiasm. So, those who are very enthusiastic in hearing, we should associate with them. That will cling on to us also. Those who are delighted by hearing, like that. There was one Vaishnava called Bhagavatacharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard him speak Bhagavatam very sweetly. Mahaprabhu was so pleased. Bhagavata Pado, Bhagavata Sthane, he says. So he told him that you are a Bhagavatacharya. So in this way, we have to be attentive in chanting, attentive in hearing Bhagavatam, also attentive in service to Guru also. One time Harishwari Prabhu was serving Prabhupada. He felt that there are some small mistakes happening in service. So he told Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, I would like to take a short break and prepare myself and then I'll come back. And so Prabhupada agreed to that. Prabhupada took another servant at that time. So what is the meaning of this? Harishwar Prabhu himself said this pastime. Prabhupada was lying in the bed in the night. At that time, his body was very weak. He was very sickly. And Prabhupada said, never leave me alone and go, because when I have to go to bathroom, somebody has to, catch my hands and escort me. And Harishwar Prabhu agreed to that. I'll be there. But then the jar of water got over. So he's supposed to go down four-story building and fetch the water and bring. But he thought, if I go to bring water and the Prabhupada has to get up, it will be a problem. What to do? And if I don't get water now, in between the night, if Prabhupada wants water, there is no water. So it's like you are between devil and deep sea. You don't know which one to do. So he was thinking for half an hour. Finally, he thought that definitely Prabhupada needs water. Right now, he's peacefully sleeping. Quickly, I'll get water. So he took the jar and went. As soon as he went down, Prabhupada got up. And Prabhupada had to go to bathroom. He stumbled and walked and he fell. In the entrance of the bathroom, he fell and slipped and he fell. That is the time Harishwar Prabhu came back. He said, Prabhupada, why did you get up on your own? I am here, he said. You say you are here, but where are you? I didn't find you. Prabhupada, I just went to get water. He said. And Prabhupada said, I told you not to leave me and go. He said, Prabhupada, I was confused which one to do first. So Prabhupada said, that takes some intelligence. You could have phoned somebody to come. Call somebody, come and pick up this jar, bring water, and you should stay here. You should follow the instruction that I have told you, isn't it? Anyway, Harishwar Prabhu said, I will take a short break and prepare myself to come back and serve you better. Then again he came back and served. So the idea is, in service to Vaishnavas also we have to be very attentive. One time Burijan Prabhu shared this in his book, My Glorious Master book. He says, he was cooking khichdi for Prabhupada. Prabhupada has to go to airport now. Prabhupada will take khichdi prasad and go to airport. Half khichdi is over already. And Prabhupada's servant came running and said, Prabhu, are you making khichdi for me also? He asked. And Burijan Prabhu said, I am making only for Prabhupada. I thought you will take normal prasad. He said, no, I also want khichdi only. He said, don't worry. Then he put more mung dal, more rice and more water. Is it a good idea? Anybody who is a cook here, if you add in between, will it come out good? Then he put on high flame. Somehow some khichdi came out. Prabhupada said, it's getting late now, bring it quickly. Then he brought it. When he served, Prabhupada found it was not cooked well. The rice and mung dal and everything. Not very good. He just moved it aside. So Burijan Prabhu said one good lesson. He said that when you are serving Guru and senior Vaishnavas, we have to be very attentive. You can't afford to be careless. In case he says, cook for me, then you put another vessel, another stove, and start it parallelly, not add to this. He said, I could have done that, but actually that immediately, instantly, you have to make decisions sometimes. In life becomes difficult. So we have to be attentive in our service also. Attentive in hearing Bhagavatam, attentive in chanting, attentive in service. So in this way, here also he says here, that Lord Shiva advised the sons of the king to hear him attentively, for inattentive hearing is offensive. And Prachetas were first-class devotees. That will come when he spoke, There is one verse which will come later on about Prachetas. The last part, after Shiva speaks these verses, how did they hear his, the whole prayer that comes to the end? I don't remember the beginning of that verse, but they heard Pujayanta, Dhyayanta, Japantasya, Pujayantasya Nityada. Yeah? Second? So, now these are all prayers. If you put Dhyayanta, Japantasya, Pujayantasya Nityada, they heard all the prayers spoken by Shiva very attentively. They kept it in the highest pedestal in their heart, and they worshipped those instructions, and they implemented in their lives, and they perfected their lives very well. So, as Shiva told them to hear attentively. Even Parikshit and Shukadeva Goswami discussions, you will see. Shukadeva will say, Parikshit, I am going to begin this pastime now. Hear me attentively, he would say. Like we say, may I draw your attention, please? When they say like that, then everybody, their ears are on. Okay, now our attention is brought. See? No, not this one. Dhyayanta, pujayantasya, japantasya, nityada, like that. So, Prachitas were very good students. They are attentive and they perfected their lives by attentive hearing. Yeah? 4:24:15, huh? Okay, 4:24:15. I will just say that verse and we'll conclude the class now. Huh? Yeah. See, 4:24:15. Yaduktam pati drishtena girishena prasidata tadhyayanto japantascha pujayantascha samyata. When all the sons of Prajanabarhi left home to execute austerities, they met Lord Shiva, who out of great mercy instructed them about the absolute truth. All the sons of Prajanabarhi meditated upon the instructions, chanting and worshipping them with great care and attention. See? Tadhyayanta, japanta, pujayanta, like that he says. Prahlad Maharaj was inside the womb of his mother, and he heard Narada Muni, who was his guru, but he heard him very attentively. So he became a great devotee, Prahlad, but his own mother, Kayadu, she was not attentive. Why? She was worried about Hiranyakashipu who had gone to the forest. She was also worried about Prahlad in the womb. Maybe demigods will take me to heaven and when the boy is born, they may kill him. So she was in worry about her son, worry about husband, so she could not pay attention. Therefore, she doesn't know much about Bhagavat Dharma. On the other hand, Prahlad, he perfected his life because he heard very attentively. Similar thing we see this, our Subhadra was hearing from Krishna about this thing now, Chakravyuha. Abhimanyu was a child in the womb. So she was hearing, and the child was hearing. At one point of time, she slept off. So that was the time when Abhimanyu could not hear any longer. He only heard how to enter Chakravyuha. He didn't hear about how to get out of Chakravyuha. Therefore, you have to hear the full sentence in the classes. If you hear half sentence, one devotee came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, you came in my dream yesterday. And he said, what did I tell you? You said, if I want, I can smoke cigarettes, he said. Prabhupada said, that's not me, that's a ghost, he said. Because you heard from somebody else. I would never allow you. So, therefore, we should not hear half sentences. So we have to hear full. Because if we dozed after a half sentence, you'll hear only the first half. So this verse is especially about attentiveness. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much. Question? I'll answer a few minutes, 5-10 minutes, I'll be around here. Yeah. So, those who want to go for your service or other things, you can carry on. I will just stay for 5 minutes and answer one or two questions. Yeah, yes. Yeah, and then the mic. The mic. Yeah.
How we can remain focused while hearing and chanting? Because mind had tendency to keep on going.
And that is what we discussed today in the class. You have to hear the class again. Were you attentive in the class? I told many things in the class, how we can be attentive. At least Lord Krishna says in the Gita that when you are doing any work, 3 words are very important. He says, attention, awareness, and absorption. 3 things are put together called concentration in doing anything. Attention, awareness, and absorption. So attention means, whatever you are doing, like I am doing cleaning of this hall, I should not leave any place which is not cleaned. Make sure that I clean every bit of this hall. Correct, no? Otherwise, something is lying here, there, I just ignore it. Correct, no? Similarly, I am sweeping. Not that I sweep and keep the dust here so that when fan is put on, all the dust will fly. So I have to do the service attentively. Any service given to me. whether it is cleaning, whether it is reading. When I am reading, some people don't read properly. You have seen that? There is one word in the book, they read something else because the attentiveness is not there. So anything we do it attentively, one thing at a time. If you're reading, you read. If you're sleeping, you sleep. If you're chanting, you chant. If you're playing, you play. If you're eating, you eat. Do only one thing at a time, then you can be attentive. Secondly, awareness means what? Overall awareness is important. Like in Pune, when the temple was being constructed, I happened to be around. I saw 3 masons. One mason I asked, what are you doing? He said, I'm just putting the bricks. Don't you see? He said. Another mason said, I'm just building a wall. Maybe I think we are making a house or something, he said. Third mason said, Swamiji, this is the first time in my life I'm blessed to build a temple. He said, I have built so many houses, so many factories. It's the first time I'm building a temple. I'm coming to this campus daily and I'm doing this. So that means out of the 3, who is aware? Third one is fully aware. Similarly, we should see connection of every activity we do with Krishna. I am doing this service for Krishna. I am making garland for Krishna. I am cooking for Krishna. I am studying for preaching for Krishna. Awareness. Then third one is absorption. Absorption means oblivious to anything else outside. When arrow maker was sharpening the arrow, at the time a very big group of soldiers passed by, on the road, procession passed by. So one friend asked him, did you see the procession? So the man said, which procession are you talking? I don't know. Because he was so absorbed in sharpening the arrow, he didn't even notice such a huge group of 1,000 people passing by. So if somebody is absorbed in, like a sponge absorbed in water, you can see like that. Yeah. Even if your eyes are open, you will not see anything else. Eyes may be open, somebody may be standing in front of you, but your absorption is in something. Like you can see some people reading a book. When they are absorbed, in between you ask them some question, and they will say, but they won't listen to you because their whole mind is absorbed in the book. So absorption is like, I gave the example of a sponge, absorbed in water, soaked in that. These are 2 characteristics of absorption. One is you get soaked in that activity and you become oblivious to other activities. That is absorption, correct? No? So all the 3 you combine, you get concentration. Attention, awareness and absorption. Then you get very good concentration doing anything. Now let us apply it for a class, for example. Attention. Hear every word that the speaker is speaking. When some smartphone is saying beep, you switch off the phone. You tell him not now. Correct, no? And some friend is talking, you tell him not now. Isn't it? Sleep is coming, then you stand in the side. Correct, no? So that you can be alert and hearing. That means everything that is needed for you to be attentive, you have to do. And the other things you should reject like that. And if the mind is going somewhere after 3-4 sentences, again bring it back. Tell the mind, hey, hear what was being spoken. And don't allow the mind to give running commentary side by side. Running commentary mind gives. Speaker is saying, so we should surrender to Krishna. And mind says, what if I don't surrender? Like that mind is asking. And don't allow the mind to speak running commentary. Correct, no? So in this way, pay attention. Then awareness means, why am I hearing? By hearing Bhagavatam, nashtaprayeshu, abhadreshu, nityam, all my abhadras in my heart will be destroyed. My heart will become pure. And one day will come, I will become a pure devotee by hearing. So that is the full awareness, the benefits of hearing. There are 5 benefits given of hearing, Parikshit says. Yatashanvato apaitaratir vitrishna satpam cha shuddhyatta chirena pumsaha bhaktir haro tat purushe cha sakhyam tadaiva haram vadamanyasechet is saying your lack of taste will go away for hearing. Apaitaratir vitrishna. Vitrishna means your hankering for sense gratification will go away. And Sattvam cha shuddhyati means mind and heart will be purified. And you will develop affection for Lord Hari, and you will become friendly in dealing with devotees. 5 benefits. So if I am thinking of these benefits, when I am hearing Bhagavatam, then I will know that, oh, this is a very wonderful activity to do. So I am fully aware of the goal and benefits of hearing. And then absorption means, what is absorption? Absorption means relishingly hearing the Bhagavata. What a wonderful point it was. Such a, you appreciate the speaker, you appreciate the message, you appreciate the exalted nature of devotional service, and you consider yourself fortunate. You are grateful to the speaker and you are considering yourself fortunate. You are wondering and you are astonished by Krishna's qualities. That is hearing with absorption. Correct, no? In this way, paying attention, awareness and absorption in hearing. In the same manner, every activity can be done. Correct, no? Yeah, yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association. It was a very instructive class and so many takeaways, Prabhuji, from your classes. So
Thank you.
I hear regularly, Prabhuji, your classes. So my question is, Prabhuji, yesterday, during Rath Yatra, so I received 2 mangoes. So, and I just, the Rath was passing through from my friend's house. So, so I just called him, I invited him, you just come and just pull the chariot for some time. So he came with his kids.
Okay.
And as I said to you, I received 2 mangoes as a prasadam. So I just gave it to the kids of my friends. So then my wife, she said, why did you give all the 2 mangoes to, yeah, you should have, because you have received a mercy. Prasadam is a mercy. So why did you give? You should have kept 1 with you and you should have given 1. So I said, we will get prasadam every day, but at least they won't get it every day. So I thought, okay, let me give. So how should I explain this to my wife? So, I just said them,
See,
so
both of you are correct. You thought we are anyway getting every day. Although you are getting prasad every day, the mercy that you get on Rath Yatra day is special, which is from the chariot, directly from the Lord. So as your wife said, in future you tell her that, okay, we will keep partly for ourselves and partly give. That's what Brahmanas would do. Brahmanas actually, they dan and pratigraha. If they get some charity, you can ask any brahmachari, imagine he got a dozen mangoes. He may keep 1 or 2 for himself. Rest of it, distribute. Otherwise, you will tend to eat everything one mango every day. It's not good. So give away, isn't it? So you are allowed to keep little for yourself and then give it away. So even here also now from the altar you get some Mahaprasad. So you can keep little for yourself and then you distribute to others. There was a argument between Parvati and Shiva. Shiva got some Mahaprasad and he ate it all himself without giving Parvati. So Parvati became angry. She said, I am Ardhangini, I am half your body. How is it that you ate and you didn't give me? I am going to do penance. Correct, no? She did penance where? In Simantadweep. And then she got the mercy of Gauranga, she got. Similarly, you got 2 mangoes and you gave away 2 mangoes. Your wife is upset with you, like Parvati is upset with Shiva. So you can learn from their pastime. So you can promise her next time, when you get Mahaprasad, I'll keep something for you and something for giving away. All right?
thank you so much. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. All right? Srila Prabhupada ki, one question? Okay. Yes.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for giving opportunity. Prabhuji, you mentioned that we should not pray to Lord for the material benefits, but sometimes like other devotees or neophyte devotees ask to pray for my benefit and all other things. So shall we do it or not?
Many people tell me, Prabhuji, I am writing this competitive exam, please pray to Lord that I will clear it. There are people like that. There are other fathers who say that, Prabhu, my daughter is 28 or 30 now. She's not getting married. Please pray that she will get married or anything. Many people say like that. They come to me for asking. I generally tell them, see, I will surely pray, but you have to increase your devotional service. You are chanting 4 rounds. You make it 8 rounds, then I will pray for you. I tell them, oh, okay, then they increase the devotional service. We have to also see what am I doing for the Lord. Not only demand the Lord to do something for us. And once they increase the rounds, come to 16 rounds and read Prabhupada books, then they understand that actually Lord knows what we need without even our telling Him. He is all-knowing. He knows. Just like a small, say 6 months old baby. Does he bother about winter that's going to come in December or January? That who will, Mama, please will you get me sweater or not? Child doesn't ask. Mother or father, they worry about the child more than the child worrying about himself also. Similarly, when Ambarish Maharaj was attacked by a demon, sent by Durvasa, he didn't have any weapon to attack the demon. But Lord arranged for Sudarshan Chakra. Correct, no? Similarly, Lord knows what will benefit us more than what we know about ourselves. That's the conviction of a devotee. Therefore, we don't pray. But if somebody still feels that, yes, Prabhuji, what you are saying is true, still, I want to just put it in Lord's ears. At least he can be aware what I am looking for. Okay, they can pray. They are certainly better than atheistic people who think they can do everything on their own foolishly. Huh? Yeah, all right?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Shri Prabhupada ki jai.